This is the gospel according to the IRS, Breaking Points and Church Financial Updates. And now, here's the authority, Dr. Michael Chitwood and Breaking Points.
I'm Michael Chitwood. Welcome to Breaking Points, and we have some hot tax tips for you today. Grab your pad and pen. Let's get started. I told you that we was going to be talking about your church corporate documents. So at the top of your pad there, in this important impact segment, I want you to put down church corporate documents or church documents. Does a corporation exist only on paper? Usually the organizational instruments or corporate documents is a legal document from a legal standpoint, and the most important part of your church are considered to be the articles of incorporation. Grab a pad and pen. Number one, church corporate documents. Number two, articles of incorporation. I want to give you 4 important points. And right below that, I want you to put in there kind of like birth certificate. Birth certificate of the church. The church's organizational instrument is nothing but the birth certificate of when the birth began of your church. And that's important, ladies and gentlemen. The first thing that you should do when God puts a vision in your heart, when God puts something in you that He wants you to do, the first thing that you can do is to incorporate and become a birth certificate of organizational instrument or your corporate church documents. The reason for that is because in the articles of incorporation, which is recognized in every state now, it's important for you to make sure that you have in there what you're going to do. Everything in that birth certificate or in that corporate church document will allow you the things that you will be doing, and also in some cases it could prohibit you from doing some things for lack of it being in there. So the church's organizational instruments, I want to make sure that you have that down. I'd like to give you these points. Number one, the church's articles of incorporation should have the name and the address of the corporation. The name and the address of the corporation. Make a note right there that that can change because you may move from your home as a beginning of a new church. You may move from a small building to a larger building. And let me say this to you today, if I may. Don't ever think that because you see someone else real big, that can't happen to you. I can name thousands of ministries right now that started small with 3 people and they have 20,000 people today. I can think of a lot of ministries today that never thought that a woman could pastor a church. Now, I'm not going to get off into some ecclesiastical discussion with you about that because I'm not qualified to do that. But I can tell you this right now, there's a lot of lady pastors out there that are pastoring huge churches today, extraordinary churches, preaching and teaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. And after all, isn't that really what we want to do? We just want to get the good news out there, right? So therefore, the church birth certificate's important. The first thing was what? Read it back to me right now. You must have the name and address of that corporation. Number two, the duration of the corporation. I need to know that the duration of the corporation is going to be perpetual. It's life. It's going to run for eternity. The duration of the corporation would be perpetual. Number three, the purpose of the corporation. Now with that there, for most of you that have my system, you're going to find in my incorporation manual that I've got that all written out for you, really, really nice, organized, because it's been tested, it's been proven, and if you read mine, I believe that you're going to say that yours is exactly the same way that mine, that you want yours to be the same way that mine is. Now, you may make a few changes in that, of course, and we understand that, but for the most part, we're going to pretty much agree on the same thing there. Don't you think so? So number three is the purpose of the corporation, to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ, the uncompromised Word of God, to help people, to minister to people, to teach, to do all of the things that you feel like that you want to do as far as the purpose of the corporation. Number four, the defined rules by which the corporation or organization will be organized. We have to know how many board members. Now let me say a point to that. You understand that you need to have at least 3 board members, and they must be unrelated. You have to have what we call an odd board, 3, 5, 7, or 9. You can't have an even board, and that board member should be unrelated people on the board in the very initial beginning. As later on, as you go down the road, you may find that that may change, and I'll show you how to change that where it will be more effective for you, because I can tell you this, no one wants your ministry when it's small. Everybody wants to try to take it over when it's big, because, you know, everybody's got the answer when it gets to be 3,000 or 4,000 people. Nobody had the answer when it was 3. But everybody's got the answer when it gets up to 3,000 people. And you know what I'm talking about. Therefore, What I want you to do is to make sure that you're covering every aspect of yourself and your ministry. Remember, if God gave this vision to you, if He purposed this destiny into your life, you know what's going to happen? God will bless this ministry more than you can ever imagine. Think big. Dream big, because God is with you. If God be for you, pastor, board, church, who in this world can be against you? I'm Michael Chitwood.
Breaking Points gives you the latest IRS updates and tax law. Pastor, if the IRS came to your church today, what would you say? If you really want your house of worship in order, call 1-800-345-9117.